Okay. Getting back to the Brett match, the Survivor Series.
Yep. Very weird day. You could feel something that day. Brett didn't get there till like 5, very late. People wondered if he was going to show up, but just you could tell something was in the air that day. And I don't know if it's because you could see it with the boys too. All the boys were different that day, and I think that might have been just because Shawn and Brett finally got it. But at the same, that friction, all that stuff, sort of died down. I don't know, at least in my mind it had. But I think in the wrestling world, in the underground, the dirt sheet world, I think they had built it up into being, ooh, what's going to happen? But it was a very different day that day. But he came in, and he and Vince did their thing, and then he and I had a long, nice long talk, which will then prove what everyone wants to know. But he obviously, if he was wired, which he was, as you saw in his biography, when he went into Vince, I talked to him right after that. We had a long conversation. He's obviously wired when he talked to me. But it didn't show any of that, because that would have then proven my innocence in the whole the whole scam. But he didn't use that in his piece, because my part was to play the bad guy.
Right.
But we had a very nice conversation. He told me the whole story, and I was quite taken back by the fact that I didn't think that no matter what feelings he and Vince had, well, all I can guess is that he must it couldn't have happened the way his little biography said, and I know that it didn't because I saw some of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw the part where he's in the limo talking about how I'm saying, he's not comfortable calling me a fag, this, that, and the other. And I'm telling him, yeah, no, say it. And of course, well, that wasn't true because one, he was very comfortable saying that because he said it all the time.
Right.
And two, what I said was, you can say whatever you want, but can you stay off that stuff because it bothers my parents a little bit. So that was Brett just acting for the camera. That was just a lie, plain straight out lie. Because I never said anything like that. I said don't mind. I said, but just you've been hammering that forever now. Can you just lay off it? Because my dad don't like to, it offends my parents a little bit, and I was tired of hearing it.
Right.
It'd been like over a year now, talking about you cheating. It's like it's a gimmick, dude. So anyway, we had a nice conversation, and he told me about the whole thing of Vince trying to get rid of him, how he wanted to stay, but he wasn't about to take any less money. So obviously he didn't want to stay that bad.
Right.
And that was the thing with Brett, is that Brett would not in a million years would admit to in any way of being maybe not fair or taking himself or things a little too serious. But he did realize that that he had overreacted somewhat to a lot of the things that had gone on, and that I hadn't said anything bad about him except that one comment, and that he felt that he let the office work him up into a frenzy, into a shoot, so to speak, and that he realized that the WrestleMania 13 that he realized no one had said to me I was supposed to put Brett over. Because it was never asked, because I guess apparently Vince, I think it finally come clean with it. I think because Brett was using that for a long time. Will you let him do this? And I think Vince finally said, look, I never asked the fucking guy. That's right. Why, that's why I had no problem taking time off, because I didn't ask him to let him know that was one WrestleMania where Vince didn't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't have any idea where to go, because he knew the only match was really me and Brett, but he didn't want to go that way because he didn't want to put the belt back on Brett. And he knew that if he went into that match and didn't do that, Brett would have really went off.
Right.
So anyway, but still, we had a nice conversation, started talking about the match, got all that taken care of.
Did Vince ever call you the Wednesday before and ask you if you get pinned by Brett?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a heel. I didn't have a problem,
Because I guess he went to Brett. He called Brett up. I don't know if you're aware of this. Vince called Brett and said that you kind of refused to get pinned. I don't know. He might have been trying to build tension between you two.
Yeah, no, I can't remember. I mean, I might have. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if that's when he told me. I don't know if it was the Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever.
Right.
I mean, I remember him calling, talking about the match. Oh, I know what it was. He was saying that because no, he did tell me. He did say that, you know, Brett's leaving, and then he did ask. I said, "Fuck, no, I'm not doing it if he's leaving.
Right.
There's no way." So no, you're correct. I did refuse because he was leaving. I said, "I'm not." I said, "What?" I said, "You want me to do that?" I said, "You really want me to do that? I'll do it." I said, "If you want me to put over a guy that's going to go to WCW, I'll do that." You know, I said, "But if you're asking me, do I think I should do it? No, I think it's fucking stupid." He wanted me to. He wanted to hear me say no. That's when I started finally realizing what he was looking for, and he wanted me to say no so he could go back to Brett and say no, so that he could use that against Brett to say, "Look, we need to have a finisher." But I remember saying, "Fuck no, we're not going to," because Hunter was on the phone. Both Hunter and I were on the phone.
Right.
And they saying, "Fuck no, that's fucking stupid." He goes, "Well, you know, Brett doesn't want to do this, that," and I said, "All right, fine." I said, "If you want," and that's because I knew if I said it like that, he's going to go, "Well, no, I'm not going to do that." But I said, "You want me to put over a guy from WCW, I'll do it." I said, "But it's fucking stupid," you know. So we get there, and then it's a different story, because then we get to the show, and it's a different story. Then it's a DQ, and because if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be just that show, and then he was leaving. But now it's going to be this show, then he's coming out on Raw, I think, and relinquishing the belt or something
Right.
like that.
Wasn't there plans of anything getting the? Yeah, they were going to get the belt maybe in a four-way in Springfield, maybe a month later.
Me?
Yeah.
If I mean, well, I
If
don't
he
know if it was a
relinquished the belt
four-way
the
or
next
winner,
night.
but if he was going to do that,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, there was never, because this thing about me getting the match as a result of the Hell in a Cell match, this was the first time that the world title was coming to me that I wasn't one of those things where they said, "You're going to get the belt at this," you know what I mean?
Right.
He was just, what had happened was Brett was a heel, but then we turned heel and we just sort of passed him up.
Right.
Because I don't think there was ever any intention of putting the belt back on me when we formed DX. And I don't think I don't think they knew how that was going to go, because it was so very different, and that was the start of the new attitude and all that kind of stuff. So he was sort of just playing with that. If it worked, we can put it on Shawn. If it doesn't, they'll just do their DX thing or whatever. So there wasn't any real, it's going to go to him. It's going to go to him. Sort of Vince sort of feeling it out. But it was going to be a DQ, and at that time, I was up there, but again, as a heel, had the heat and all that, so he had said, he'll relinquish the belt and then we'll put the belt on you some other time. I don't remember the specific being any kind of match or anything. Because all that shit changes in his head day
Right.
by day, so
Right.
I don't put much, clout into what he says about that particular time. But, so that's what he was going to do. So we just worked out a good match, a DQ, and that was that. And it was Brett's spot, actually, which again is, if you go back and look at the whole thing, and especially after I see his documentary and how he just didn't want to do it, for him to get beat, or for them to say he got beat with his own move,
Right.
is very ironic, very symbolic of what went on. But that was his spot. I can remember us going over it with Pat. And I remember Pat saying he wasn't in on it, but Pat's the guy we went over the match with. And again, I don't want to accuse him, but Pat's the guy we went over the match with. So he's the only guy that could have known. I don't know, unless he told someone else and then they, whatever.
Right.
But we did that spot. I mean, and he went because he was just going to reverse it, and I was going to go out and grab the rope, continue our match, and then it was eventually going to have, I think, Hunter and China come down. Then the Hearts come down, just get into a big schmoz and end it.
So you're pretty pissed off when it happened.
Huh?
If you watch the video, you,
Yeah, I didn't, because one, I knew that I was going to be in the same situation that I've always been in. But this time, most of the time, I put myself in that position. I didn't mind. This time, I was involuntarily put into a position. I knew I was going to be the scapegoat. I knew I was going to be the guy to get blamed. I knew I was going to, I knew it was all going to go on me. And like I said, times in my career when I purposely put myself there and I knew it was going to happen, I didn't mind. But this was the time when I wasn't prepared for that. So, yeah, I didn't like it. And again, you know, it was just, it's one thing to talk about it, because in our conversation, Brett said that. Brett said,
Have you talked to Brett since this?
No.
No?
Never talked to him since. Never talked to him since. But in that conversation prior to the match, I can remember him saying, you know, a lot of guys told me not to let you put a hold on me or go for any false finishes. And I said, well, don't. Don't. Doesn't matter to me. He said, no, we had to have a match. And I said, that's fine. I said, but you know, because I can remember him saying, like, I don't want to see, talked over with Vader and some other guys, and they said, well, don't do this, don't do that. So he was aware, you know, of what could have possibly happened. As was everybody. Like I said, it was a very, very different day that day. But it's one thing to talk about. You know, and there were a lot of guys saying to me, fuck that, man, you know, you can't just let the guy, who's to say he's going to show up tomorrow at Raw? Which is the $1 million question everybody was asking me. I said, you know, go ask him, you know, because finally at that time, this whole Brett and Shawn thing, I had enough of it, you know, so I wasn't about to take any more, you know, I wasn't on Vince's side anymore, I wasn't on anybody's side but my own, and I just wanted out of it, I wanted it to stop, because it really it's been like 2 years,
Right.
and it was just old, it was really old, so, you know, I just, you know, fine, I'll take the fucking belt, but, you know, whatever, put it on me when you want, but this shit's got to stop. And for Vince, he just felt the best way for it to stop was to get rid of Brett. So, you know, I guess that was his way of doing it. I couldn't think, but you know, again, by seeing the documentary and stuff like that, the guy wouldn't let anything else go. But anyway, so, you know, he still let me. I put the figure 4 on him in the match, if I remember correctly, and then we did that spot, and ding ding, he went, and outer roll went, and I was just like, fuck. You know, again, it's one thing to think, you know. One thing to say, ooh, this could happen, but it's another, I mean, that's big. That is really, really big.
Right.
The main event, these two guys got this big, huge thing in and out of the ring. Everybody knows about it. It's just big. It's huge.
That match changed the history in wrestling because eventually Vince turned himself heel because of that.
Yep.
Basically changed his
everything.
business.
Yep.
So.
You know, but the thing is, I mean, I just didn't like that. I was the scapegoat, and I can remember Vince also saying, sometime beforehand, whatever happens, you know, Brett doesn't like something around that, like, if he comes at me, you know, everybody stay out. He was telling a room full of people this.
Right.
You know, his son, you know, so I guess he knew that he was, I mean, that's what I can remember people saying, that had to be a work. Because, like, he even knew that he was going to get hit. And I was right there when he did it. Hell, I saw him and he took a dive. You know, he sold like he sells on TV, which is brutal.
Right.
You know.
Did you tell Brett that you weren't going to wear the belt the next
Yep.
night on TV?
Yep.
And then obviously you changed your mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
Right. Right.
What are you going to do?
Right.